So, since we're approaching the end of the original Switch's run, I wanted to ask the community what their favorite year was. I might have a little bias here, but I truly believe that this is the best Nintendo console. For this video, I'm not specifically talking about UI or design or anything like that, I'm just talking about the games. So let's just get started. Coming in dead last for obvious reasons is 2020.
A bunch of games that came out in 2020 were games that were basically already done before the pandemic hit. This year wasn't necessarily bad, but it definitely felt barren compared to the other years. On my personal list, I would also keep this last, as Animal Crossing and Paper Mario Origami King were the only games I really cared about this year. Animal Crossing really carried me through the beginning of the pandemic, so it will always have a special place in my heart, though it makes sense why the Nintendo community would vote this last.
This one is a bit of a surprise to me, but you guys voted that 2019 was the second worst year of the Switch.
But when I think about it, this was the first year where the core Nintendo fans were left disappointed by the two major titles that came out this year, being Pokemon Sword and Shield and Mario Maker 2. I was personally disappointed in Mario Maker 2 because it just felt boring, and the lack of amiibo costumes made the game's personality really stick out less. And hot take, but Pokemon Sword and Shield are not the worst Pokemon games, nor are they bad games in general. I would even put them ahead of Diamond and Pearl. Cry about it. Other games that came out this year were Fire Emblem Three Houses, which I loved, Astral Chain, which I loved, Link's Awakening, which I really loved, and also Luigi's Mansion 3, which I heard good things about. So yeah, this year was pretty stacked. I would put this a lot higher on my list, but you guys have it here.
I honestly can't believe I'm saying this, but the next year that we have is 2024, which is this year.
You guys have some very interesting opinions. The only explanation I could possibly think to have this year so low is because not everybody played games on the Switch this year, including myself. This year hasn't even ended and we have games like Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door Remake, Mario Party Jamboree, a new Princess Peach game. There's so much looking at it now. There's a ton of Mario this year, so for it to be this low is even more surprising. I would have this a bit higher. Tell me what you guys think in the comments about this rank, because I can't be the only person that thinks this.
2021 though, in my opinion, is an underrated year.
This is the year that the Switch OLED came out, so Nintendo made sure to have some bangers on here. People will most likely remember 2021 for one game, being Metroid Dread, but did everyone forget that a new Pokemon Snap came out? When that was revealed, I thought that was the coolest thing ever. I loved the one on the N64, and then it just came and went, like, huh? My most played game this year was probably Monster Hunter Rise, which came out only on Switch at the time, so I'm counting it. I'll be honest though, I would have this year slightly lower on my list, partially because of that game. But we are now at the halfway point.
If you made it this far into the video, just do me a favor, click that subscribe button down there. I'm really trying to get back into the flow of making videos, and honestly, seeing that little number go up makes me pretty happy. Anyways, on to the big hitters, starting with 2018.
This year is very nostalgic for me as it was my favorite year of my life, but looking back on the games that defined the year for the Switch, there really wasn't much, which kind of makes me feel like the community had the same nostalgia I just had thinking about it. Don't get me wrong, there were some great games, the big one being Smash Bros. Ultimate, which came out at the very end of the year, but the games that led up to Smash was just a bunch of re-releases and Nintendo Labo. The actual new games that came out this year was Mario Tennis Aces, Kirby Star Allies, and Pokemon Let's Go, which all have their mixed opinions from their respective fan bases, whether it was too short, not better than the old games, or just not what fans wanted. The vibes leading up to Smash carried this year. I would still put this lower.
Those were very fun times. The next three I completely agree with you guys, by the way, starting with 2022.
This was such an incredible year after 2020 and 2021 were severely impacted by COVID. Bangers whole year round, starting in January with one of the best Pokemon games of all time, being Pokemon Legends Arceus. We were even blessed with Scarlet and Violet, which were also good games, even though I hate the art style. March came and we got Kirby and the Forgotten Land. April, we got a sequel to Wii Sports, which wasn't as good at all. but still pretty damn cool. A new Mario Strikers game came out in June, which could have been better, but it's still nice to have. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 in July. If you're a fan of this was your game of the year. And if you weren't, you knew people that wouldn't shut up about this game. We got Splatoon 3 in September, which I didn't play a single second of, but the community loved it. A new Mario Rabbids in October after the first game was really fun and successful. But the most important game has to be Bayonetta 3. Everyone knows I love this series, and after 2 years with the game I was waiting years for, I definitely felt like I wanted more. The best combat in the series with unfortunately the worst story. Doesn't change the fact that playing this game was a defining moment for me and was probably the last time I was semi-active with this channel. It's kind of hard to argue with this year not being top 3, and with so many bangers you might wonder what beat it out.
People wondered how they were going to top 2022, especially with the Switch so close to the end of the lifespan. And then 2023 came.
This year was the true end of the Switch for me, and what a wonderful final hurrah. Alright, I'll stop making wonder puns. This was recent, so everyone mostly remembers how good it was, but to those that forgot already, January, Fire Emblem Engage. February, Metroid Prime Remastered. March, Bayonetta Cereza and the Lost Demon. April, Advance Wars. May, The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. June, Everybody Want to Switch. July, Pikmin 4. We are more than halfway through the year, and August is the first month where we get nothing. It's insane. September only really had F-Zero 99, which was very nice to have since there hasn't been an F-Zero in years. And in October, we got Super Mario Bros. Wonder. And to top it off, we got the Super Mario RPG remake. Most of these games don't really need an explanation how good they are, so let's just get to the most obvious number one of all time.
The beginning of the Switch's lifespan was by far the best year of the Nintendo Switch. That year was 2017.
If I was a company trying to release a console, I would use this year in Nintendo history at the top of my reference board. This is the best release year for any console ever. Nothing comes close. The hype around the console starting in the late 2016 reveal to the presentation in January to the Switch line in February, then the release in March, starting off with the game of the year, Zelda Breath of the Wild. It's just greatness. The rest of the year was very properly paced, with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe coming in the next month, then Splatoon 2 in July. Two massively popular multiplayer games to hold people off until the next huge game in October. Though Nintendo decided to spoil us even more by releasing Mario Rabbids, which leads us to Super Mario Odyssey, a game nominated for Game of the Year, and rightfully so. There was just so much to like this year, and it didn't even end there. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 also came out in December. I don't think I've ever seen anyone ever complain about this year, and I can't wait to see what Nintendo has in store for the Switch 2.
So that's what you guys ended up voting for. But I would love to see your personal opinions in the comment section below. I'll be replying to some, but I just really like seeing your interaction. I'm gonna start off with my list right here. But anyways, thanks for watching. Share this if you enjoyed it. If you'd like to participate in any of my community pollings, you guys can go ahead and follow me on Twitter or X. But that's it. Bye!